the concept of Flask templates, and in this video we're going to show how we can use them. We're going to go back to our HTML example where we kind of walk through all of the different controls available in HTML, and we've modified that so that it uses templates so that we don't have to duplicate all of that common functionality, that navigation and everything else over and over again. So we're going to go into our code from GitHub, and we're going to go into step 5. And if we look at this one, we'll see we have a README file here. We can take a look at what that says. But basically, we've got a templates folder that's going to have our Flask templates. And if we go into our project, our GAE project, we see a couple of files here. We have an app YAML, which is going to look a lot like the other app YAMLs we've had. We're going to have a templates folder. We're going to have a static files folder, and we're going to have our main py. So let's go ahead and open up that main py file. So the main Python file is actually going to do a few things that are maybe new and interesting. One of those things that we're going to do is we're going to actually route several different URLs to the same location. So sometimes when people are looking for the first page in your website, they just enter nothing. They just enter the name of the website. But sometimes they're looking for an index.html page. Sometimes they're looking for something called /index, and there are a few different ways that people might do this. What we're going to do is we're going to in our function here, we're going to render a Flask template. So we already have Flask. We're going to use flask.renderTemplate, and what this is going to do is it's going to look into the templates folder in your project it will try to find an index.html page in that templates folder, and we're going to also provide it a named parameter here called page title. So we can actually take a look at that. Let's go back to the terminal, and we will edit templates. Edit templates index.html. There we go. So this is actually, there's not a whole lot here, so you can see it's a really, it's right to the point. We have content, and our content is here, but it extends this base HTML. So we should probably take a look at that too. So let's go ahead and edit templates base.html. And here we can actually see a lot more code. So this is the base template we're going to use, and we'll start off with a couple of things. One is we do have comments available. Curly brace # or curly brace octothorpe will allow us to open a comment section, and this is just kind of explaining what we're doing. Now, you do have comments available in HTML. You can use them using exclamation point and then 2 hyphens, just like this. This is an HTML comment. But the problem with HTML comments is they're going to come through in the HTML code that you send to the user. So with templates, we can actually put the comment in, and this actually just stays on our server code. So the user will never actually see this in the HTML. But here you can see we're inserting that page title value into the page. So whatever in our main py, whatever we actually pass in as our page title, that's going to now be at the top here in this the title of our page. So we also can use if statements. So if we have a page title, if a page title is defined, then we can show that in our header as well as our title, because the title is just going to show what you see in your tab, whereas the header will show something on the page itself. Now we have that navigation. That's all going to be the same now, and now we have a section here for our block, and this is going to be the content of our page. So that's why if we were to render this page, we'd actually see the entire complete navigation, everything else, and we just see this HTML file full of links to samples. So that's kind of the start here. If we want to go ahead and load this up, so we can use dev appserver.py app.yaml. And we'll give this just a moment to load up. Okay, so that should be going. Now you can see this is our rendered content. And if we view the source, if we go ahead and view page source, you can see none of those comments, none of that comes in. Now you do see a couple of blank lines based on where those were, and you could change your code around so that you don't have those blank lines, but you can see this is just this is assembling everything and sending it off to the user's browser. So when we click on each one of these now, if we click on link samples, this is going to take us to a page called links.html. And let's go ahead and into our code and see how that's actually rendered. So we have links.html, and that's going to be rendered using a template as well. So flask.render template links.html, and we're going to change that page title to links. And you can see here, this is the links that we're supplying, and if the tab was visible, you'd be able to see that as well. So it's the same code as we had for our HTML examples, but it's just a little bit simplified. And each one of these is actually going to do about the same thing. We're rendering that template for each one of these. We're providing a page title, so you can kind of see on a very simple basis how we can take something that was a little more complicated and make it a lot simpler. So the code for each one of these pages now is much simpler. If we if let's go ahead and close down our server. If we take a look at the files in our templates folder, so you can see we have our base, we have images, links, index, lists, sections, tables. So if we look at lists, you can see this is much simpler. So these templates allow us to show a much simplified version of this HTML by taking all of that sort of extra HTML, that surrounding or enclosing HTML, and moving that into a base template. So this gave us the ability to construct these using base templates and extension templates. It also gave us the ability to insert one single title into the page. Now in our next video, we're going to get into how we might actually do a little bit more dynamic content in our pages. Thanks for watching.